through that.
Yeah, so stock of the week for this week is a not very heavily discussed stock.
Yeah. Not traded stuff.
Yeah, it's not talked about. Yeah. But if you've heard of Peter Marangi, you probably know about the stock.
If you like
Oh no.
Wait, yes.
Oh no.
Yes.
Peter Marangi.
He's forgotten.
What
He's
a bad
forgotten.
way to start this.
What?
Okay,
What's
so
wrong with Peter Marangi.
guys,
I used to like Peter Marangi.
Wait. Dan, let me just help you out.
What?
So our stock of the week is Crown Paint.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Marangi was running a program for Basco Paint.
That's recently. When you were growing up,
when you
it
grew
was
up,
for
Peter Marangi was
for Crown Paint.
was a Crown Paint. I mean, I don't know Basco Paint.
He's Basco.
Now he's Basco. But he was always
Duracot is a product for which company?
Why do you know Peter Marangi? Why do you know Peter Marangi?
See, because of Marangi. Let me ask you. Peter Marangi was a Peter Marangi is one of the relax. You know Peter Marangi was one of the original influencers. Wachana nao tuko nao leo. Peter Marangi was doing a product called Duracot. True or false?
Okay, true.
Duracot belongs to which company? Basco.
Yeah, it's a Basco product.
So okay, but we are still in the paint.
Yeah, we're in the paint space.
Yeah.
We were talking about the space in general. Not
He
the
said, it's Crown Paint. He said, if you know Peter Marangi, you know the stock of the week. Yeah, you probably know the stock of the week, right? So now
That
you know
means you know Basco. Basco isn't even listed.
No, but they're in the same industry with.
Okay.
Same space. Yeah, so if you've heard of Peter Marangi, you know of Duracot.
Yeah.
So we are Duracot is paint.
Yeah.
Duracot is paint. We are linking this thing. We are linking it one by one.
The agenda must attend.
Yeah.
It must align.
Yeah.
We are connecting the dots.
It's not your forcing.
It must get in there. So the stock of the week for this week is Crown Paints.
Yep.
And Crown Paints basically is a company that engages in the manufacture and sale. Why does that sound very weird? Sale. Manufacture and sale of paints, adhesives, decorating sunrise, PVA emulsion, alkyd resins, and it has a presence in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda.
Yeah, that's where they have the manufacturing plants. But I understand that their products go as far as Burundi and South Sudan as well.
Yes, in terms of distribution. Yeah, and then so Crown Paints operates with two main divisions. They have a paints division. And they have an adhesives division. And so basically, when it comes to the paint product, it's decorative paint products such as emulsion, water, floor paints, gloss, oil-based paints, roof paints, textured finish, the one that is usually feels kidogo rough. Wood finishes, automotive paints, industrial paints, intermediate like they're just
everywhere.
All over the paints. And thinners. I've always heard of thinners. I've never known what it is exactly, like paint thinners. I've heard of it like many times, but I'm not sure what exactly it is.
I know it's used to cut glass. Yeah, it weakens the glass surface, and so once you smear it, and then now you can cut it through that line.
Oh yeah, it's that liquid that is poured on glass. And then you cut it. Okay, so it's that thinners.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Wow. So
Easter, which polytechnic did you attend? Homo Bay Polytechnic.
Yeah. So before it Crown Paints Kenya PLC in June 2012, it was formerly known as Crown Burger Kenya Limited.
Burger.
Yeah. BERG.
Okay.
Burger
I'm feeling a bit hungry.
Yeah, and the company was founded in 1958. So it's before independence.
It's a family business.
Yeah, actually the history of Crown Paint is that this company was owned by Britons before.
Okay.
Then now it transitioned, to
Asians?
owned by Kenyans of Indian origin. And all that. So Dan has mentioned about their product range, and I was just looking at their numbers, and I realized that for the Kenyan market,
Yep.
Crown Paints, 80% of their products are actually premium products.
Yes. Yeah.
And then 20% is now the economy products.
Yeah.
And if you look at outside
Yeah.
the Kenyan market, it's actually the opposite of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other markets, they sell 80% economy products and 20%.
Including Rwanda.
No. So now
Yeah,
for
Rwanda's a
Rwanda,
bit different. Yeah.
Now for Rwanda now, it's if you look at the numbers for the previous years,
Yeah.
it's been increasing. They're tending more into the premium
yeah,
products.
yeah.
So this is affirming, the per capita income, that is growing in Rwanda now, so that people are able to afford.
So then
this
does
kind
it
of
mean
products.
that the per capita income in Kenya now is high?
It is.
Or
It's
it's
not
relative?
100% a factor
It's
of per capita income.
Okay.
Let me say that because I know you guys are about to box me.
We have our swords out. Like, boss,
You're waiting for
try
me.
to
there.
mislead us here.
I had you in the first
Slaughter.
half, chief. so now I'm looking at that, and they've actually been launching very very niche products.
Yeah.
I remember last year, one of the products that they really put out is the granite flakes. So granite is very very expensive.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Are
you explaining what granite flakes are?
Yes.
Okay.
So granite flakes are it's a product where if you use it on your wall, it would look exactly as if you had granite on your wall.
Okay.
Okay. And granite is really, really expensive. You can
Yeah.
probably get it for 15K
Yeah.
per square meter.
Yeah.
And many people can't afford
That's
that.
expensive. Sorry, I'm messing.
Okay. it's
Yeah, it's expensive. That's
fairly
expensive.
expensive.
No, that's
Oh,
expensive.
It's really expensive.
That's expensive.
Yeah, because you could paint a considerably sizable house
Yeah.
for that amount of money. Now, they're introducing such kind of premium products because, if you look at their numbers there and the competition that is there in the market, you find that when it comes to, there's a lot of competition in the economy products.
Yeah.
Okay, and then also if you look at the margins, the margins
Are very low.
are very low on the
Yeah.
economy product, but the margins are
actually-
really good for the premium products. So I understand why they're tending to focusing on that. And the CEO, Dr. Rao,
Rao.
has actually been doing.
You want to mention the other name? Rakesh?
Rakesh
So
Rao.
people don't be like, Kwani this Raila guy he owns all
No, yeah. So we are talking about Dr. Rakesh Rao,
Yeah.
who is this group CEO of Crown Paint. Now he's been talking about visiting Germany, visiting China, and all these other places, and scouting to look at these premium products and bringing them now into the country.
Yeah.
And they've had and they've been actually using the influencers to try and get entry into this market. So they've been working with Terian Chebet, they've been working with some of the other personalities to try and who have a huge following on social media and the likes, to try and promote these high-end products. And I think it's been really working.
How have they been doing that? What since when were they doing that?
I think last year they did it really
Yeah,
well.
because I saw in the report that Dr. Rakesh was giving that what pushed them through COVID was one tech and going digital.
Yeah.
That is, and it was very not so what I expected, because when you mention tech and going digital, I would expect it to be outside there, something out of the organization. But this one was looking at optimizing the operations of the business from within. Yeah,
and they really cut costs during COVID.
Yes,
they really cut costs.
By cutting costs, you think laying off people. It's just by reducing the wastage.
Yeah, and efficiency.
By efficiency.
Absolutely.
Yeah, by using technology. Again, so in that same report, he mentioned that digitizing the processes helped them to cut costs. But the other thing that now helped them to even increase revenues was the fact that people were staying at home, and so there was increased expenditure in maintenance and people trying to do DIY stuff.
Now people started worrying about how their house looks like because they're spending all the time there.
Yes, and now it now makes sense when you mention that they started using Terian Chebet at that time.
Yeah,
because now that means if I see Terian Chebet making her house look very pretty, I feel the FOMO. Then now I'll be like, okay, maybe I might want.
Yeah, and of course that gave sensitization of
you
the
would
product.
feel that.
No,
I'm a big fan of Terian. I'm a big fan of Terian Chebet.
Like if you see Terian Chebet like redecorating her room, like you would feel FOMO. You'd want now to go redecorate.
No,
not what Esther was saying.
Oh, not
no,
because
the general population, not at a personal level, not a personal level, but then still the concept is the same.
You know, Terian listens to us. Say hi.
Hi, Terian. The concept is still the same, right? If I see Terian's place is like very good, the space she's spending time in is very good, I'd feel something, man. I mean, I'm spending most of my time here in this house.
I think the way Easter is framing this statement is giving us different ideas.
What ideas are you guys getting?
No, okay. The reason I asked is because it just speaks to the influencer mentality.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to things of the home.
Yeah.
Who is the actual decision maker?
The mother.
On things to do with the decoration.
The mother.
And I think it's the lady of the house.
Yeah.
In most situations.
Yes.
Who would be like, yo, we need to.
Which is why I said not at a personal level.
For a majority.
So what are you trying to say about bachelors?
Bachelors are just there. I think for that, like it's particular and it speaks to which now leads me to question.
Yeah.
All this like rental apartments that usually come and they have all weird colors.
Yeah.
Who is usually in charge of
NHC's one?
Of the colors of those?
What do you mean? What do you mean weird colors?
Like, seriously, you've seen there's the
rainbow thing is not very serious
the Kikuyu landlord memes that go about where the tiles I don't know look like what. There's the painting, like it has the randomness of paints in the sitting room.
A mixture of yellow and orange.
Yeah, it's just very, and sometimes I usually wonder, is it that this landlord, is this a decision that they came up with by themselves? Because it's one of two.
Yeah.
Told whoever the fundi is like, get the cheapest paint available.
Yeah.
Piga rangi.
Irrespective of the color.
Just the cheapest, Miss Jolly. Or two, do they have any advice from their special ones or their spouses on color yenyewe? It's tricky. Anyway, I've
now about that. Now that you've mentioned that,
right?
Right? Let me just add something to it. Crown Paints, they came up with an app.
Oh, they have an app.
They have an app where you can go in and check. Like now, before you'd have people come up with your painter. That's the occupation, a painter.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, a painter would come and give you tell them what color you want. That color, that blue. And then in this industry, color is they're literally given codes. Mm-hmm. Like there's now the female listeners would understand this when they're doing their nails.
Lady listeners.
The lady listeners would understand this.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Yeah.
They are very different. Colors can be very different. That blue. Okay, sorry, I don't know what example to use, but assume you're looking at what I'm saying. That blue looks very similar to this blue, but they might not be the same color. You understand?
Yeah. So
if you use it in a different way,
color codes.
No, sure.
Or what does it do?
So I'm telling you the problem that this app is solving. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So given that slight variation in colors, the variation might be slight from a distance, but when you find that when you blend them with other colors, now it screams. The difference is screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd send your painter umemonyesha the color you want, but then because they're going to go to the shop or distributor to get the color, they might get a slightly different one.
Yeah.
And so Crown Paints were experiencing issues with people trying to get these products back, send them back. So they came up with this app that lets you know that this color is this code. So you go to the painter with you don't even want to look at the paint. You just give them the color code. The color code.
Wow, no wonder they are the industry leaders, the market leaders.
I was like, that is so thoughtful.
Yeah,
so thoughtful.
I think but I think the color code thing, making it now more common to people is or more available is better because if you have, especially for the automotive space, if you need to repaint your car or whatever,
especially just a small bit,
you've been dented somewhere, so you have to do like if it's the wing, the door, it's always easier when you just have these days the guys are like kuna color code. It's like you just send the color code and
They look for the paint.
So you don't have shades of colors in your car.
It's not like unakuja na picha, it's like unaona hii color.
Nataka hii.
You've never seen a car is red but the one door is pink.
Yeah. So I mean, speaking of painters, Easter, so when Crown Paint was introducing these premium products, there was a huge knowledge gap. Okay, so at the end of the day, the people who do the painting job are painters. Okay, so if painters don't know about your products, your products will never really end up in the market, because Easter, you want to paint your house, so you call Keegan. Hey Keegan, do you know a painter? I send you a painter's number. So you tell the painter, you tell Peter Marangi for this matter, that okay, so I want to paint this place. Okay, give me recommendations, like what can I use, like what I don't want just ordinary stuff, what. So if painters in the market don't know about this new product that you're introducing,
it's not gonna sell.
So an interesting thing that Crown Paint actually did is that they've been training painters about their products and generally about the skill of painting and other things. So the training is done in different areas of the country. They've spent $500 million training painters. They've made a huge investment there to just make sure that their product ends there.
Which does make sense, because if you think about it, if you are to, assuming you have a construction project and you want paint, I think it's not, I don't know whether paint is something that guys are attached to as to a particular brand. So for you
just want the paint.
You want your fundi, it's nataka hii color. This is the color that I'm going with, and uniambie the paint that works, that achieves the look and feel that I'm going for at the most affordable price. So if a painter is not interested or has no liking to your brand, or
they're not gonna come for
because they're the huge decision makers.
I think for that one it's purely like, I think in most cases the decision lies with the guy who actually does the painting.
And it's actually they spent $500,000, not $500 million Kenyan shillings.
Whoa.
Now looking at it this way, Dan, that's a similar model as to when you take your car for repair. Okay, and now at that point, like there's a what do they normally say in economics? There is an indifference in knowledge, like not indifference really, where one person knows more about than the other person.
Information asymmetry.
That's what I was looking for. So there's an asymmetry here. So I'm the mechanic. I know the issue that your car has, and now how to resolve it. So I'd tell you, for this spare part, let's buy this brand and not this brand and this brand, and you'd end up buying what he is saying. So it's kind of a similar model to that.
And I think even now that you mentioned it, even for guys who own cars and have had their cars repainted, for instance, I don't think there's anyone who's ever gone and be like, hey, by the paint ulitumia brand gani? No, I don't think everyone is really like,
imepaintiwa
hii rangi ilishika vizuri, ulifanya wapi? Or jamaa mwenye alikupigia rangi is not.
And here the question is the question is ulifanyia wapi?
It's not like
ulitumia rangi gani?
It's not like ulifanyia wapi?
So it's still going back to the same painter who's going to be again the decision maker.
Like again, the guys in the garage. So when you look at their division, the automotive space especially, it's up to like the guys who are in the garages doing this job. And then for the real estate, the residential houses and that, it's like your local hardware guy, where you're getting your material, where you'll get your paint. This is the guy who is going to advise you on
or what to use.
Which paint to use. He'll be like, paint ni 1800 liter.
Utauliza maswali
500 liter. It's like, where?
Brand X ni gani?
Rangi ni ile.
So I mean,
just to add on to what you said, the investment this company is making in its point of entry to the market, which is the painters, is that they've instituted a loyalty program for the painters. So the more you buy from them, the more you earn in credit points.
Team Kubwa.
Team Kubwa. I don't know why that name, but then you can convert this into either cash onto M-Pesa, or that's a very recent development, or you can use it as a voucher at Naivas. I don't know the other ways you can actually convert, but it just show you these people.
You can use. I think they've partnered already with Naivas.
They have
Kenya Power, so you can use your points to buy tokens, and it's Naivas, Kenya Power, and there's another.
Do you know what?
These guys are very serious about their business. Like, they even tell that Kali, as our painter in Rift Valley region, is only using these 2 brands of these 2 products, and not these other 200 ones.
Yeah.
So then they come to talk to Kali. Kali, what's up?
That do you know these other products exist?
Now they train you about their these guys are really thinking.
Yeah, and I mean, of late, let me just give a shout out to this company. There's a company called Ajua. Okay, and Ajua are into customer insights, you know, and customer responses, customer service. And bro, let me tell you, the customer insights and the customer, you know, relations space is changing in this country, bro. So coming back
it's called NPS.
It's Net Promoter Score. Yeah, so just to explain that a bit to our listeners before let's digress kidogo. So Net Promoter Score is, so right now, a good example, if you go to Java and you pay via M-Pesa, you'll get a survey sent to your
message almost immediately.
So they ask you to rate their services.
Question.
Yes.
Have you ever filled the survey?
Yes, I have. Actually, I've done it.
I've never.
I've never.
So if you they tell you to rate the service on a scale of 0 to 10.
Or 0 to 10.
Yeah. So now the thing is, if you give anywhere from 0 up to 5,
that's bad.
It's bad.
For them.
Okay, yeah. So but then if you are given an NPS of around 6 and 7,
5 to 7,
that's fair.
6 to 7.
Then now the others are 6. Actually, 6 to 8 is fair.
It's only 9
then
to 10.
9 to 10. That's good. So they use that to gauge, their customer experience and all that. But coming back to the issue of Crown Paint, if you look at the overall paint sector in Kenya, they've been struggling with the issue of counterfeit. It's been a big deal. And actually, Team Kubwa was one of the initiatives to try and address the issue of counterfeit.
I like how you're saying Team Kubwa, we've talked about Manchester. So every time you say Team Kubwa, I'm like,
no, but Manchester is Team Dogo. So like, the only relevant Team Kubwa here is the Crown Paints. Now the thing that was happening is, you'd find something like a sticker inside the paint. So once you've opened,
voucher,
so you scratch it and you send it to some certain number. Then you might win something. You know, so it's a huge campaign. Now that was to address the issue of, so that if you'd open and you find that there's no sticker and something to scratch and get the code, like this paint is fake. So it was to address the issue of counterfeit. They've also been introduced.
Okay. Question with that. Okay, I get the legitimate the idea behind that, but as a consumer,
don't care.
Like, would you care about that?
Plus, it will be too late.
No, I'd care if the paint is legit or not.
You would?
Yeah, I would.
See, it will be too late.
Because I've bought things that are not legit in this town and nimeumia.
So what's okay? So when it comes to paint, is it that if a paint is not legit, is it that it will come off early?
That's the thing. So now that's the problem that they're experiencing as Crown Paints. That they actually control 75% of this market. Yeah. But the thing is,
the counterfeit products now.
25% is the counterfeit, and the other product.
The officially recognized. Let's say they control 75% of the officially recognized market.
You have no data of black market.
Okay.
But anyway, so the thing is, the reason why it's even hard for them to control this is because the fake ones would probably go for 2 years to 5 years. Theirs, which is I don't use legit, genuine or premium products, even for the economies segment, lasts for more than 5 years. So you realize it would take me 2 years to know that this thing, kumbe, it wasn't original. You know, when now it starts to crack.
Have you, this narrative is funny, and it will take me
2 years for you to know that. Okay, now for you to learn that lesson, that by the next time if I'm getting paint, I need to be very particular about
because hata tujafika election next and paint is already coming out. That makes sense. Kind of. So but then they've also employed other initiatives like the seal proof, for their particularly for their plastic containers, so that once you open it, you won't be able to close it back 100% probably.
Where?
The Rift Valley in me
are showing.
is Rift Valley
paying homage.
That's paying homage. But then they've also another initiative is that for their water-based paints, all of them is now being packed in plastic, because in plastic it's easy now to adopt the seal proof and now tackle the counterfeit issue. But then of course for oil-based paints they can't use plastics. They have to use the metallic cases.
Why? I don't know much.
It's the chemistry.
Chemistry. I saw troubles with chemistry in high school.
Anyway,
what?
So looking at their numbers, their half year up to June, I think they did around over 300 million in profit.
So their financial, just I think for guys, their financial year ends December. So I think we'll be expecting in March full year 2021. Full year 2021 in March. So the half year came out September. Of last year. About
how did they perform?
I think for the half year, they despite COVID, I think they did well.
They did
really well. I think there was a 39% jump in net profit.
Operating profits.
Yes.
Before tax.
For the half year H1 of 2021 compared to H1 of 2020. And in 2020 they were very resilient, strong top line, strong bottom line.
This guy is increased. Their performance improved during COVID.
The top line has been increasing year on year.
Over the years, and actually Rwanda and Uganda broke even in 2020. That was interesting to see. Now I'm looking at something important that happened last year. There was a rights issue. And they issued, I think, around 700 and they were looking for 711 million. So they issued around 70 million shares. To try and raise money. And the reasons for raising money was particularly because they have been struggling in the outside markets, particularly Rwanda and Uganda. So what they wanted to do is to write off the debt.
To show how serious that is, let me just interject you. That's an issue that even the auditors put up.
Who are the auditors?
Ernst & Young.
Ernst & Young.
EY. What they said is that they have an issue with the subsidiaries. Like there were issue about the valuation of the valuation of the subsidiaries.
Yes.
So the subsidiaries rely on the parent, which is I think the Kenyan entity for working capital. So they were like, can you really sustain these people? So they were looking at valuing them to fair value, and valuation is very key in the stocks, right? Because even last time we had an issue with the last stock of the week. Remember the valuation of the land of that
of Limuruti.
But anyway, just
so now looking at it that way, so they have been struggling, and key to that is also that some of the players there in Rwanda and Uganda, they've been ganging up against Crown Paint.
Okay.
So the local players in those countries have been ganging up against these guys, let's make it hard for these guys. They go away.
Despite the quality.
So they have been struggling. Now the rights issue was to raise money and write off the debt. I think that the cumulative debt for those countries, for the subsidiaries, were around close to 650 something million. Around that. So it was a huge amount of money. So the rights issue, they wanted to address that. And interestingly, they also wanted to use the money from the rights issue to go into the business of sanitizers.
Yes.
I'd really love to know how that is going.
That's still in the works.
Yes.
They're looking at it at the viability.
They haven't started producing.
No, they produce a bit. So now they're looking at the viability of getting fully into the production of not just paint and the product lines that Halia mentioned to us, but also personal protective gear. equipment.
PPEs. Yeah.
I remember when COVID was starting out.
KEMSA. PPEs.
Oh, it was a struggle.
When COVID was starting out and guys were like...
For finance guys.
Well, it was like, why is property, plant and equipment such a big deal during this COVID? Why do doctors need PPE? Everyone needs PPE. We are short of PPE. And I'm like...
How are you going to afford it?
What? Property, plant and equipment for medics. As in... and then later...
They stole the acronym.
Yeah. It's they share the acronym, so I think it depends on
with where, the context,
with the bias or your exposure. So because most guys,
or the context,
for guys from finance, PPE, from your accounting,
property plant.
So I mean, the rights issue was hugely discounted, mm-hmm. And I think at that time the stock was at around 22-24 Kenya shillings, and the rights issue was 10 shilling a share. So it was hugely discounted, and the reason behind this the CEO is saying that it's a way of rewarding the shareholders, just letting them enjoy the moment, because they are holding. Now, I'm particularly interested on why they decided to go for a rights issue and not necessarily issuing a corporate bond. Or is it because they were looking for just 700 million Kenya shillings, which in bonds,
by a rights issue you win twice.
In issues of bonds, you don't really. Now we are going to explore that, because I'm looking. 700 million is considerably little money for corporate bond, because we've seen guys. Even we were talking about KMRC, 10.5 billion. So is it? Why do you think they opted for that and not a corporate bond?
I think it's just trying to reduce your liabilities generally. You don't want to have more debt or a lot of debt in your books when you're trying to actually reduce, because they do have quite a bit of debt. Crown Paints. So for me, I feel like going for the rights issue is especially if you have the confidence that your shareholders are going to take up the rights, which they did. Then it's an easier option compared to doing taking up more debt, even if it's debt to pay off other debt. That's something and to consider. And then when you look at the financials, the average cost of debt is 13%.
Ooh, that's high
from the loans that they do have. It's high, but if they're to go to the market,
they'll probably get something around that.
So it will be more or less net 12.5 maybe, because that's the range where most guys KMRC is coming out, coming up at 12.5%. ABL I think raised at a similar rate,
11.9.
Even the IFBs are around there.
They're around there. Family Bank was at 12.
Family Bank actually did 13.
Was it 13?
It was 12.5. I think the Centum bond as well was around that price. So that's what you would get. And then if you factor in now your other costs,
is it given, Kalia, because we talked about that before you just came in. Is it given that if that is what other players are giving, then now that's what you have to give?
That's what you have to give, because that's how you're going to get money from.
No, my argument was EABL gave 12.9 or 11.9 thereabout, and got an oversubscription of 245%. Do you think if they would have given 9%, they would have gotten 100% what they need?
No.
Easter was making the argument that if they had reduced it by 3 percentage points, then they would have still gotten.
Because as a CFO, I don't care about what the oversubscription was. All I care about is, did I get what I was looking for?
No, but for me, for even the fund manager of a pension scheme or whatever fund manager anywhere, it would be, okay, why should I get 9% when the government is offering me to
diversification?
12? No, why? The government
you're
is
diversifying.
Safe. What am I diversifying from?
Then why isn't everyone giving their money to the government?
Everyone is giving the money to the government.
All their money. All their money.
Most of their money.
Most of their money. Yeah, now I'm saying diversify.
Like now, you see now when KMRC is issuing a bond and we have a 19-year IFB. Okay, so in this case,
the IFB will be oversubscribed. I know we'll have a discussion.
Definitely,
it will
so,
be oversubscribed. I can bet my right hand.
If KMRC doubles down to they draw down to, let's say, 8%, they won't get it because there's an alternative here.
Yes.
But then your argument will only make sense if it's in competition.
No,
but then EABL wasn't in competition.
It's not given. Even when they are competing, government bonds are always like.
I'm not going to. You can always buy it.
But then
when you want. In the secondary market.
Okay.
Secondary market, yeah.
So 8% will not fly anywhere unless it's 8% USD.
And that's what KMRC is getting, by the way.
No, KMRC is getting. They're saying 4 to 5%.
Which currency?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's USD or local.
No, I think it's CAS. 4 to 5% Kenya shilling concessionary loans.
Yeah.
From the IFCs of this world, FDB, and the like.
Wait, this guy is advanced loans to us in our own currency.
Yeah, I think the agreement could be in our own currency because
when it's
like
concessionary,
that's the whole point of concessionary lending and concessionary funding. It's usually to make it favorable to you.
Yeah. Okay.
So most likely it's 4% Kenya shillings.
Yeah.
We may have to confirm.
Okay.
But because if it's 4% dollar,
that's still too high.
That's
quite high
because it will come to like effectively maybe
around the
9%. When you translate and when you factor in the sliding of the Kenya shilling.
And then KMRC want to give it at 5.
The KMRC want to give it at 5. Their business.
But we've talked about that, Dan. You are late.
Translated.
You will listen to the episode. You are late.
Anyway, where were we?
Back to Crown Paint.
Yeah,
back
to the financials. To Crown Paint. It was the reason they went for a rights issue, I believe, is because it reduces your liabilities and your obligations that you have, because also they do have quite a bit of their assets tied up as security for a bit of the loans that they do have.
Yeah.
You see,
so a corporate bond wasn't an option.
No, it was
an option, but if you have goodwill, because
there's more benefit,
because the rights was oversubscribed. The rights issue. So if you have goodwill from your shareholders that the amount that you're looking to raise is going to be subscribed.
Plus it was hugely discounted.
Yeah. So what I was saying is what I meant to say was, as a business, your core purpose is to make value, create value for your shareholders. Your core purpose is to make value, to create value for your shareholders. Mm-hmm. So if as a CEO I'm sitting and then I'm looking at the options I have this corporate bond option, then I have my shareholders can give me that money for a bit more equity, right? Mm-hmm. I'll create more value for them. You see?
Yeah.
So I'm killing two birds with the same stone. As opposed to here, where it's actually not just killing one bird with the stone. You're actually missing, because you're not gonna go home with
you're missing even the tree.
The tree. You're not even
where the birds are. Okay,
because it's expensive. It's going to dent your income statement, your profitability. Again, reduce the value you're creating to these shareholders, which is your core purpose. Come on.
Yeah, so I mean, if we look at the share price on 4th Friday, February, it closed at around 36.3. If you look at the 52-year high, 52-year low, there was money to be made, because there's a 52-year low of around 19 Kenya shillings and a 52 high of around 42 Kenya shillings. So it was a good money to be made there. Of course, there was the impact of the rights issue in those 52 years highs and lows. So guys,
did they take up any borrowing recently? Because I saw the financial for the year ended 2020.
Yeah.
31st of December 2020. Like the current ratios are looking very well. Actually, they are it's a ratio of more than 1.
Oh wow, that's looking good.
So did they because you guys are looking at the half year results?
Yes, half year of 2021,
which is later than what I looked at.
Yeah.
Did they take a loan in between?
I don't think they advanced any facility.
Then their loan position is
probably bad. If they do, it would have been probably that the financing cost would come in after a year or something. there are these loans and arrangements where
no, but that's in the income statement. The balance sheet doesn't change.
Oh, yeah. So, that makes sense.
But anyway, again, now, the financials.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about the financials. I was looking at
I'm looking, first of all, I want to ask Mr. Dividends guy how Crown dividends are.
It's very...
Do you hold the counter?
Oh, Crown Paints? No, I do not. The dividends play is, it's hard to that's the thing with Crown Paints. It's hard to tell whether they're going to give you dividends, are they not going to give you dividends. They didn't issue a dividend in 2020 because COVID. They said COVID. So from a dividend play for Crown Paints, I am not too certain on whether it's a play that's going to be.
But judging from what they've been doing in the past.
No, this guy is always when he thinks dividends, he wants to compare everyone with BAT.
Yeah, they are the gold standard. They are the gold standard for dividends. So at the moment, I'm like, maybe try a capital gains play.
So jump onto my ship
for Crown Paint. Yeah.
So guys, we've discussed
let
the
me
industry.
Let me say something about these guys. Their financials. Really. So 2020 comes. Corona is there. These people import for this industry import most of the raw materials. So the global supply chains are
disrupted.
Quite negatively.
And prices of the raw materials go up,
and therefore your prices have to go up as well. So given that their revenues increased, I think by 7% in that period compared to 2019, 2019 to 2020, it moved by 7%. So my assumption was the revenue moved up because they increased their prices, and then they retained their customer base. But then guess what? Their costs didn't go up by as much because they were
in a cost cutting.
The revenues went up by 7%, about 7%. Their cost increased by only 1.9%.
Yeah, that would mean, you see the way the Dr. Rao was talking about cutting costs, and creating efficiencies, in the production chain and all that.
Operations.
So that cost cutting, so that really catered for the cost increase that came with the increase in raw materials. And actually this week, Crown Paint has issued a statement that they are going to increase prices of some of their products because of the increase of raw materials. Dr. Rao was talking of raw materials last year, October, increasing to up to 60%. That is really high. So this, for me, indicated that at the height of the pandemic, costs were increasing, but Crown Paint really absorbed a lot of the cost. So now that they're seeing recovery in the market, they're trying to release some of that pressure. Exactly.
Does it show that they were absorbing it? Because I would see
they absorbed. But then you wouldn't see the absorption really, because then they employed cost-cutting measures internally. So they created a balance to that. So just for you to generate a revenue growth rate of 7%, and to that the accompanying increase or cost increase to be less than 2%, that shows that you have very good unit economics. And so I think I might be giving my recommendation already, but that's what I'm asking for, because we need to wrap up.
This is for me. This is a buy, a hold if you already have the stock. But again, for the quality of the stock, it's a buy and all that. But being that we're headed towards election, the stock price is yet to go down. So maybe you might just keep the money in a reserve. Then when it goes down, then I'll buy a bit later.
I think,
or it's cheaper.
I think the interesting thing,
recommendation as we close.
So as we close, one thing, maybe a suggestion to the management, I can't seem to see a dividend policy for Crown Paint, like an office. No, suggestion. Just tell your shareholders
they can't get Kalia's money because of that one reason.
What are you going to, like, what's the dividend policy? How much of your earnings would you be targeting to take back, to give back to the investors as dividends? I'd like to see that.
Let me try and answer you, because there was a time I held that counter. The reason why you are not seeing a dividend policy coming out and all that, it's because a lot of the money was being retained to help the subsidiaries.
It does not show in their retained earnings. They don't have a lot of money in their retained earnings.
So money was being, some of the profits,
they're holding on to the money,
to take care of the subsidiaries because it hasn't been a good time.
Which is a poor investment decision. If your arm is paying you cut it
relax.
Sorry.
But since there was a rights issue which went to offset the debt in the subsidiaries, now in 2020 the subsidiaries broke even. That is in Uganda and in Rwanda.
It can only get better.
Expect dividends.
Yeah, it's one thing expect dividends. How much dividend should I expect? That's my question.
Yeah.
Like if you have a good year, what portion do you have a policy on, like the amount that you're going to be giving back?
Let me help you, Dan. Enter, make an entry, then attend a GM.
That's a good one, actually.
So I think
as a shareholder, you're entitled to,
because now you can't ask
you have
that,
an opinion.
because you don't own the counter.
Yeah, I can't ask that. I can
Make
ask
an
now.
entry, then attend a GM.
Maybe someone will pass on the same question. Someone has been having, a shareholder maybe has been having the same question and would pass the message.
So is it a buy? Ama you have to see dividends first.
So here's the interesting thing. Easter mentioned election year bring on some uncertainty. The interesting thing about Crown Paints is I feel, especially COVID, the fact that revenues increased shows that they are quite resilient in the market. And the diversification, because the real estate market, I feel like if you're to focus on the real estate arm of their products, which paints go a long way in real estate, I think the residential side, they, even despite of elections, I think people will still be targeting to build homes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys will still be doing that. So I can say there's a positive outlook. Also on the automotive paints side, guys,
they provide that as well. I learned. I found out that it's a different product range. Of product type. What's used for the houses, for the vehicles, and even for the roads. Which again,
painting of roads.
The yellow lines and the white lines you see on the road.
Expressway.
Crown Paints are the only ones doing that in the market.
So if they're the only ones doing that in the market, for instance, on the roads. And we know this is a legacy year for the outgoing president. They are finishing up on the roads project, the roads being built. So
then that's a
positive outlook there. On the automotive side, guys are always going to dent each other. Guys are going to have scratches. Guys are going to, despite elections, guys are still going to be having those issues. They'll be needing repaint. And so the outlook seems positive for me. And their revenue, the top line year on year has been going up. The main concern
and they prove to be persistent.
The main concern is the cost, which you mentioned that the cost could be going up as much as 60%. So that's the main issue. That I would be like, how are they going to mitigate this rising cost? Are they going to pass it off to the consumer? How are they going to try to stop that? But so overall, it's a very intriguing
stock.
Dan, you've mentioned about the cost, and Dr. Rao has mentioned a lot of times that it is cheaper to manufacture paint. Like the cost of production in Uganda, Rwanda, and Tanzania is far much lower than Kenya. So I'm looking at, I'm not shocked, but I'm exploring a possibility where if the unit economics makes sense, Dr. Rao would produce in Kampala, then just bring them in here.
Sorry,
because they have a plant there.
No, there are borders. You can't just produce and because that would be an import.
That's why I said if the unit economics makes sense.
Okay.
Producing Kampala. If you take in the duty and everything. Okay. You've mentioned about the issue of having elections, and I don't think Dr. Rao is really bothered by elections. Yes, Kenya contributes 75-80% of the revenue. I mean, compared to the outside players, but then Dr. Rao had elections. Uganda had elections last year.
But Uganda,
Tanzania
you know who the president, you know who the result is going to be, and they do not have a history of violence.
Hey, Uganda doesn't have a history of violence.
They have a history of violence against Museveni's opponents. But they do not for the general populace.
No, they don't have a. They don't have a history.
You know, when you're running,
violence was during the day of Milton Obote.
When you're running,
when was taking over. The numerous.
So when you have when you're running a multinational business, Dan, you've you've seen elections in different countries in different times. So I don't think, yes, it's an issue, but I don't think it would be that big an issue. But then just closing, for me, I'd say there's never a better time to buy than now. Do you know why? Because I am 100% sure they're going to do very well in their full year 2021. So when the results come in March, the market's going to react positively to that. So buy.
Don't wait. Don't even wait.
Capital gains.
Usingoje
dividends.
That's one hand. The other argument that I would give is that the stock is held by 37% of the shareholding is held by foreign companies.
Yeah,
which is it's
who are probably institutional. So
so with the uncertainty that always comes in with the electioneering period, then there might be considerable flight.
They might sell a lot.
Which if there's a sell-off even by half of these guys, it will have a
price is gonna tank.
It's going to have an impact on the price. So that's the other thing, and that's regardless of Crown Paint's performance.
Absolutely.
It's just the outlook that they do have on the Kenyan economy.
But then that would probably kick in probably in May. But me, I'm talking
talk to the CEO in the AGM, who would then tell them that by this sector is a bit different.
No, but that's not sectoral. It's a whole. I can say
it's actually a macro issue.
It's a macro issue on the Kenyan, based on our history and the political uncertainty.
But guys who are listening in 2012, they have a history.
Guys, we need to wrap up.
Yes,
we need to wrap up. Thank you, guys.
For now, I'd say if the market tanks,
is it a buy, sell, or hold?
Good. If there's the flight that happens. So you mentioned May.
We look at around each other.
No, I'm talking to short-term guys. I'm telling them buy now. Market's gonna respond to the results. You're gonna get your capital gains. Sell.
Then you sell.
So
I'm waiting for the flight to happen, and then
you
enter that.
And then now you'll have a chance to ask for the dividend that you have.
I'm with Kalia.
Guys, thank you so much. This has been episode 20. Please, in the comment sections and everywhere, please tell Dan Kalia not to ever come late to the podcast again. It's been a pleasure having you. Remember, you can find us on Twitter at @marketmap_KE, on LinkedIn Kenya's Market Map, and we just want to remind you about our announcement that on 17th of February this month, we will be at Riara University in partnership with Ariel for Africa, and we'll be talking about your relationship with money. You can come to Riara University, or even better, you can be able to join us through the YouTube channel of Riara University. The session will be there live, so join us 6 to 7 p.m. 17th of February. It's been a pleasure. I'm Kigen Kiplimo.
I'm Easter Fanning.
And yes, I did not get to introduce myself.
The latecomer.
Yeah, but I'm Daniel Kalia.
Until next time, remember, it's nothing personal.
It's just business.
Cheers.